Welcome to Illo Talk. I am Cory Kerr, and I made a thing. I hesitate to put this out there because I don't like getting political online, because I feel like nuanced discussion seems dead, and everybody just wants to roast each other, and it's awful. Anyway, I've illustrated things in the past hated by both conservatives and liberals for being against their side of things, and I'm not for sides as much as I am for principles, and I try to call out hypocrisy wherever it hides. So I made this thing. It's about government surveillance. And some may see this and think that I'm talking about the London ULEZ or ULEZ cameras being torn down. And I guess I am a little bit, but it's more than that. I'm a privacy advocate, and I'm generally against government surveillance. Years ago, I drew these two pieces about government surveillance or being bugged. And so this is something that's been on my mind for a while. I think the earliest of these illustrations was like 8 years ago. I lived in Scotland for a couple of years in my early 20s, and I loved it. But there are government cameras everywhere, all over the UK. CCTV cameras film everything. It's a massive invasion of privacy that I hope never hits the States. I fear that if it does hit the States, it may be worse and end up being run by some tech startup that's eventually purchased by some giant corporation. I read up a little on the ULEZ situation, and I found pretty much what you'd expect. Groups of people calling each other on the other side idiots. It's about improving air quality, something that I think everybody can get behind, but the implementation of it seems to disproportionately harm the poor and less fortunate. People dressed in balaclavas and hoodies or inflatable dinosaur costumes run around destroying the cameras used to enforce a fee on certain vehicles. Others mock the vigilantes as simple-minded criminals that want children to die of various lung-related issues. Depending on what you read, the program is either completely ineffective in stopping pollution or a massive success in improving the air quality. There are rumors of these vandals being uneducated, crazy, racist conspiracy theorists. It's difficult to sort through all of this. I don't know where I stand, except I think that better air quality is awesome, and government surveillance is not awesome. I don't trust too much power in the hands of too few people. I don't trust tools that can be used to a chilling effect on free speech or movement. These things tend to corrupt. I like checks and balances, and privacy is a big deal. More so now that so many don't seem to care that their every click and keystroke is being tracked, tagged, and sold. I wonder sometimes if the peoples all over the world will eventually be surveilled everywhere that they go, and if anybody would care. We tend to normalize outrageous things if we're exposed to them long enough. The Scottish people had gotten used to their every action being filmed and analyzed by the government. That would never happen here, is the placating cry of those that are blindly losing their rights to privacy. There's an assumption that things will always stay the same, but things always change. As a general rule, we shouldn't give good governments powers that we wouldn't want bad governments to use against us. I'm not going to advocate for breaking the law, and I'd like this illustration to be taken symbolically. We should seek to help people, make the world better, and fight against government overreach and the destruction of privacy. Often, those things are at odds with each other. Nuance. There's no simple answers. I live in an area with good air quality. I remember the poor air quality of the greater LA area that has vastly improved over the last 40 years. Breathing clean air is a goal we all should have, but I don't think that the ends justify the means, and we shouldn't allow the expansion of the tools of oppression in the name of doing something good. Too often we give up much in exchange for very little. I remember waking up one day and realizing that I had paid for and placed bugs in my own home so that Amazon could listen in on my family's private conversations. What did I gain in exchange for this massive loss of privacy? The ability to turn my lights on and off with my voice, poorly, mostly having to repeat myself several times while standing next to the light switch. I should have asked, what win I if I gain the thing I seek? A dream, a breath, a froth of fleeting joy? Who buys a minute's mirth to wail a week, or sells eternity to get a toy? For one sweet grape, who will the vine destroy? That's Shakespeare. But it was neat. It was novel. It was a fun trick, but it wasn't more convenient. It didn't significantly improve my life. Sometimes I had to shush my family or mute the music to shout out a specific command to the smart speaker. I often had to repeat myself. When I wanted to turn the lights on, I was entering the room. This is where we put light switches. I had paid for these devices, and they had begun to condition my behavior to fit them. It wasn't worth it. I got rid of all the smart speakers, and no one in my family missed them at all. We had sold our privacy for a minute's mirth. It reminds me of the lyric, "My tasks were simple. I had a good technique. Now with computers, they take me all week." And if you haven't listened to Flashlight Brown, you should. They're fun. So I worry a little about putting this one out there. I'll be clear. It's about fighting the spread of government surveillance. If anyone uses it to promote bigotry, racism, violence, or hate, you're a huge part of the problem. And in researching this, I came across a lot of quotes, which I didn't really include here, but I'd like to include at the end. We've got Henry David Thoreau and Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King quoting and inspired by Henry David Thoreau, and a few others. And so enjoy that. But anyway, that's this illustration. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Feel free to share this and like it and comment on it and all the stuff. And we will catch you guys next time. Go make stuff.